In this video, we're going to have a look at some more advanced functions used by normally by website administrators, project managers, and other people who manage the project, website, and other users. So let's have a look at how we add users. So usually we have to log on to the project and go to project users, and then there is a button add user. So when clicking on that button, it gives us an option either to add an existing user or add a new one. So if the user exists on a website, on a web space, say from another project, then we just click add existing user and then select that person from the list, highlight, and then if we want to add that person with the same role, we just leave it current role or assign a new one, and then click add, and then this person will be added to the project test. If it's a completely new user, say in the new company, then we click add new company, type the name of the company, add, then we type the name of the person, initials, login name, then we assign the role, we give it a mail address, we can also fill out the other details so we can edit them later, and then we click add, and that person will be added to this particular project. Sometimes the system will give you a warning that the user already exists, so if you overlook that that person is already on a system, just check on the existing users, or that person might be in deactivated users. So for example, that user was in a project that was completed a while ago and the project was deactivated. Then you have to check in reactivate user section, and then you can choose what person to select and reactivate. Also, there might be a conflict with login name, because the login name and initials must be unique for every person, for every user on the web space. Say if the system gives you a warning message that the initials or login name already exist, just try a different combination. Say add more letters to the login name or initial. Okay. Now the next thing we want to have a look at is documents administration. This is where we create new directories and folders, and also we assign permissions to who can access those folders and who can see them, who can upload and revise documents. For example, to create a new directory, we click new directory button, and we type in the name, say directory 3, add, and it'll appear on the directory column. To create a new folder, we click a new folder button, type in new folder, say folder 1 in directory 3, click add, and we can see that folder appears in there. You can also move up and down folders or directories by clicking the arrow buttons. Say if we want directory 3 be in front of directory 2, we just click up arrow a couple of times, and now we see the order has changed. So now there is directory 1, directory 2 and 3, and then directory 2. So how it looks on the documents section is when we select it from the drop down menu, it would appear after directory 1. But before we can see directory 3 that we just created, we have to go back to administration and assign permissions for roles who can see that directory. Okay, we click on it and scroll down to permissions section. As you can see, no boxes are ticked at the moment, and I'm logged on under website administrator, and it's not ticked. So I select grant all button, which gives me view, download and add revise permissions. The same we can assign to different users. Say project manager role, we grant all. For the contractor, we only give view and download access, and say for the consultant it might be full access, which means they can view, they can download and open the document, and they can add and revise drawings on the website. Then we have to click update permissions, and now we see that under documents there's directory 3. Alright, so now we can add documents and revise them. If we go back to administration, we can select, we can set folders to inherit permissions, and we can also copy permissions to folders in this directory 3, so that we don't have to do it manually on each folder in the directory. Okay, now we go to the project roles, and we can have a look at how we create a new role and what that means. Okay, everything is managed by roles on the web space, and all users assign particular roles. Say if we go to users, we see that different people have different roles. It might be consultant, project manager, user, contractor, guest, client, which means that all users that have been assigned particular role have a certain access level to different folders and communication. Say by default a consultant cannot communicate to the contractor directly unless the project manager gives them permission to see each other and talk to each other. The same way we can assign who can see folders and who can do what on the folder level. So for that we have project roles, and to create a new role we click a new role button and we give it a name, say site manager, and if we want to copy permissions from other roles we can also do that, or just leave it blank and then add, and we see that the site manager role has been added. Now we can set what this person can do, what that role can do. So we expand the plus sign, clicking on the plus sign we expand all the permissions and double check what this person can do. So we in many cases we need document permissions, and then we can see that that person can edit folder, edit directory, edit permissions, and etc. So there are a few different tick boxes that you want to go through and allow or disallow that role. Also, whether this role can see contracts, for example, requests for information. So unless we tick C, tick box, that role site manager won't even see the request for information on their login. So the same for other sections. And once we checked what we want this person to allow, we have to click apply and synchronize. Alright, so that's roles. Profile shows us the permission in a tree-like formation. So for example, website administrator is assigned 1, project manager is assigned 2 1, so which means those people can do and see everything on a website. But then for example, consultant and say contractor, we can assign them different numbers, so which means they have different access levels and they won't be able to communicate to each other directly. So they won't be able to see each other when they select new message, and they can't pretty much talk to each other through the website. Number 9 means that those people also won't see each other, so they won't be able to communicate to each other. It's mostly for the guests, so it's for the guest access. We put them under 9 column. So where we can find these numbers is we go to roles and then select a person who wants to edit permissions, say consultant, edit, expand general, and then we expand project access permissions. So project access permissions, and there is a section called security node. So security node is where we select where this role will go to. So that's effective permissions. The website administrator 1, project manager 1 1, and all the rest will be split into different columns. Okay, and then we have to click apply and synchronize. Message permissions. Message permissions is where we enable different roles explicitly to be able to communicate to each other. For example, as I said, a consultant by default cannot directly communicate to the say guest or contractor or client. If for some reason we want to allow them to send messages to each other, we click on a consultant role and select send to and receive from a contractor, so two-way communication, and then hit update. Now we see that a consultant can send messages to and receive from a contractor. Okay, the next thing is if we go to global and then project, we see the templates. Templates are folder templates that we use on a project. So if we don't want to create a new folder structure every time the new project starts, we go to the templates and we can create a new one, which means clicking on the new template, test, we create a new folder structure. So we add folders, say folder 1, folder 2, folder 3. We add directory 1, directory 2, directory 3, or it can be I don't know, architectural, hydraulic, mechanical, fire, etc. and then we save it as a template, which means the next time we create a project, the folder structure is already there, so we don't have to go through administration and create folders and directories one by one. So the whole structure will be already there with assigned permissions. Okay, the next thing we want to have a look at is user project map. This is where project managers can quickly see in which projects a particular user participates in. For example, we can find some test user, select, update, and we can see that that particular person is not part of any active projects. Say website administrator, update, so the part of test project 1. Morph function. Morph also gives you very visual information on what other people see on their login. For example, you want to check what a say particular person can see when he logs in onto the project. Then we just select that person, and now we can see that we morphed as a person with the name test. Okay, and then we can quickly go through the different sections and make sure that that person is allowed to do any uploads, and he can see particular folders. If not, then we just go back to administration and tick the checkboxes to make sure that he can do things on the website. Also, we can select inbox, and in new message we can also see who he's able to send the messages to, because sometimes people complain that okay, I can't select people from different company, different roles, because they're not on my login. And that way we can double check that yes, that's right, that person is doing all correct, but the information doesn't appear on his login. And it gives us quick and visual understanding of the problem. Once we fix it, then we can always go back and check that the problem has been resolved. Okay, and to return we click return button. Right, the next thing we want to have a look is how to create the new projects. So we go to projects, and then we click add new project. Right, so we give it a number. It's a compulsory field. We give it a name. If we have a template, then we can also select the template, so we don't have to create the folder structure from scratch manually, so we can select it from the template. Then who will be the project manager, we can always adjust it later, and then add. And now we can see that project has been created. And if we go to details and edit, we can always fill out more fields if we require. Okay, the next thing we want to have a look at is contract, how to edit the contract messages. So we click the button under project, edit contract messages. So that's the path. We go to projects, edit contract messages, and this is where we can create and customize our contract forms like RFI, DCI, variations, and etc. So we can completely customize it and create a new form. For example, if we go to edit RFI, we see that that particular contract is called RFI, and that's what we can do with it. Say for example, we go back and we check variation. We see that we can edit and add more options. For example, if it's a variation, we can add a cost, and that cost will appear on the login. When we go to, say, project, logon, contract, variation, and when we create the new variation, we'll see the field for dollar value. Okay. Admin messages, you can find out the project admin messages. We use it for notifying different clients or everyone in a system of a particular event. Say there is an upgrade on a website, or the website will be unavailable, or we can notify only particular roles, say site manager, and so on. Usage statistics is normally where project managers or website administrators monitor what projects are active or inactive, the bandwidth and usage. Similar way, in the analysis, we can find some summary or statistic information for different projects, users, and etc. So you can break it down to messages and see how many messages have been sent, documents, what companies upload the most drawings in percentage or by number, and the same for contracts. Say different projects have different values in cost and time. That completes our advanced admin video.